Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the Purple Throne. We are going to get into a little bit of what's going on right now, real quick, with the nodal axis shift. North node moving into Aries and the South node moving into Libra. And that happened during the new moon, July 17th. So we are experiencing a huge cross here, a cardinal cross, which has the nodal axes north and south on Aries and Libra, and then the sun and moon with the new moon energy in Cancer, which is a direct square, and then directly opposing that, also squaring the nodes, we have Pluto in Capricorn. So that creates a cross. Now, basically, what this translates into for all of us is a major shift, a major change. This is not just, in our personal life, but we'll see this globally as we're moving into 2023, 2024, and this will kind of culminate in January of 2025 when the axis shifts again and kind of finishes up. Now, with the North Node being in Aries, again, Rahu being the planet of the head, the kind of energy of being just kind of going all out, not kind of reckless, not really thinking about the rest of the body, but just doing whatever the head, the mind wants to do in that moment. Aries energy also is the initiator, so it's very prominent here to people or entities, organizations, countries, anything taking action, very swift action, especially when you've got K2 in the Libra axis, which is about partnerships, it's about diplomacy, it's about justice, it's about fairness, equality, all of those things that Libra is bringing to the table with K2 there. Aries is now having that shift to push forward and kind of fight for what people believe in and what people are standing up for. Again, this is globally as well as in our personal lives. So we will see lots of new beginnings. Independency is going to really come out here kind of full force. People may move away from any relationship that doesn't serve them, any partnership, business partnership, family members, really anything that they've been dependent on or codependent on, and it's not serving them in their own purpose. They're going to be thinking more about their own autonomy, their own freedoms, their own ways of life, and how do the people around them support that. And if they don't, then looking to get away from that and change their surroundings so that they are in a network of people or in partnerships that do support those things, that do want to take this into the future, who are warriors, who are going to fight for this. Remember, Aries is that sign ruled by Mars that is ready to fight. And so we're going to see a rise up here in the next year and a half of groups of people who are willing to fight, even risk their lives for what they believe in here. And we're moving away. This is a huge risk, by the way, to, gather together and kind of come against these people and organizations and, even government, anything that, anything that might be, moving that way to take back the power, like I said, the freedom. And it really is about a switching roles here of power. The powers that have been in control, have been, dictating things quite long enough, and people are fed up with it. They've gotten to the point where they're not okay with losing their freedoms anymore. They're not okay with other people living to rule other people's lives and, kind of place them under their thumb and say, well, we kind of own you. You're going to do what we say. And that's just not flying with societies anymore. I think after COVID, we saw that a lot. There was a huge awakening during that took place. And, there was one group of people who fell in line and did what they were told and believed everything that these people said. And then there was another group that were skeptical about things and may have played along with it, for so long until their eyes were opened. And then they shifted to that third group of people who knew at the beginning everything that was going on and said, no, we're not going to be a part of this. We're not staying home. We're not masking. We're not shutting down. We're going to fight for our rights. You're not going to control us, our bodies, our families, our jobs, our whatever, And so that was kind of an initiation, I think, into this newness coming in. And this took place, just before, really 2020, 2021, before this nodal shift even occurred. So now that we are in this nodal shift, I feel like enough people have enough energy and enough information and enough power and enough confidence, because Aries gives you that confidence to go after what it is that is right and fight those who are wrong. And again, with that Libra axis there, people are wanting justice. People are wanting to live their own lives how they want to live their own lives and not be dictated against. This is not a communist world. And, there's going to be a lot of things that change, I think, when it comes to this Aries Libra, especially with Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto's a planet of transformation. And so Capricorn doesn't just represent the 10th house of career, but it also stands for your money, your income, where you get what it is that you are earning from what you're doing, whether that be in money formation or land, or, there's other trades, where someone may work or trade a service for another service or whatever it is. Well, we're going to see with Pluto and Capricorn here, with that transformation, that people are done, paying tax on tax on tax on tax on tax. The whole money situation right now with going to this computerized system is so that all the governments can track every time money switches hands. They want to tax it again and again and again and again. And it doesn't matter. I explained to my daughter this the other day. If I were to pay her for babysitting $100, now I could pay her that $100 in cash, okay? And her $100 is her $100. But if I were to pay it online somehow, then her $100 then gets taxed. So she actually only gets about $91 from it. Now let's take that same situation. And electronically, she has $91, or in cash, she has the 100 that I gave her. Now, she wants to buy 5 chocolate bars from me, and it costs $30, and she's going to pay me that $30. So she gives me back that $30 and keeps the 70 for herself. I now have $30 back of my original 100. However, if it's done electronically and that $30 comes back to me, that is also taxed. And in that case, it's only going to be about $24 that I receive for those candy bars. And let's say I pay her for giving me a foot massage. So then it's going to change hands again. So I either have $24 to work with or 30. Well, she charges me $20. She's very nice, for my foot massage. So I'm going to give her $20 of that back. And if it's electronic, well, then I'm only going to be giving her about, 1675 or so because of taxes, again, coming out. And then keep in mind at the end of the year, all of these cash transactions between my daughter and I, government doesn't know anything about. There's still $100 between the two of us, right? She has part of it. I have whatever part she paid me back for other things. However, if you look at the internet transactions, we are both going to get taxed again during our income tax time for all of the income, quote unquote, that we've received for all of these goods or services that we've paid back and forth, which they've already, taxed, but they're going to tax again because now it's counted as income. So income tax. So there's not just like sales tax being done, right? But then there's more tax on top of it. So we've already been taxed with our payroll, right? And then we get taxed how many times on top of this? Again, every time money changes hands, the government is taking more and more and more money. And I really think that with Capricorn holding Pluto here, that there's going to be some huge shift in finances. Some big part of that is going to be how we pay taxes and what we're allowing anymore, because everyone going to this electronic system and going to do a 9 to 5, or even, if you're shift working and working 12-hour shifts, and even getting overtime, that overtime is even taxed higher than your regular premiums. You could fall into another tax bracket. It just goes on and on. And I won't get too much into finances here. I'm sure other people know a lot more about finances than I do. So that's barely scratching the surface here. But you guys get what I'm kind of saying here is that people are waking up to these things and noticing that what they should have in the bank and should be having and holding on to is being drained so much because of these shifts, these transfers, these taxes that are put on XYZ, or you'll see like these apps that take money, even the ones that I use, Cash App, Stripe, things like that, right? You'll see them take out fees, right? There's taxes and there's fees. So even though you're paid for goods and services, you're still being taxed. You're still losing money. So that's going to be, I think, a huge thing come 2024 when we're kind of in the middle of this. We'll see what Pluto's going to do here. But being the direct opposition to our sun and moon right now in Cancer, I feel like everybody's feeling this kind of heavy because the sun and moon are our personal planets. And when we've got Pluto and Capricorn just transforming our finances and our work and our, how we invest ourselves into the world and serve, all of this is going to look very different very soon. Pluto is, like the destructor. I think of it like the Tower card when I think of Pluto, because it comes in and it just completely destroys everything that should not have ever been that way to begin with. And then it requires a complete transformation or complete restructuring for what's going on. And it's going to take the right people being in the right place to do this, which is where these Aries North Node people are going to come up. They're going to come in, they're going to step in these gaps, and they're going to say, no, I will make sure that this changes. And that's what we need right now, are people standing up and saying, no more big government, no more overreach, no more taxes like this. We're being stolen from, we're being starved, we're being manipulated, we're being put under all of this control, which was never meant to be. especially in America. And I know this may reach other countries as well, but it's the same thing all over. And globally, we have to stand together and stand up against these people, because they are going to try and put these things in place to really just rule over everyone, especially with AI, especially with this 10G technology and cameras everywhere. They are wanting to keep Big Brother's eye on everyone. And, don't be surprised if people are getting shut down for what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're standing up for, what they're believing in, what they're fighting back for justice over. All of those things are very deep when it comes to a North Node, especially those people who have North Nodes in their own chart that feel this very personally. And they have a, human design chart that stands up for laws, that wants to acknowledge truth, that wants to help society. There's a lot of different categories of placements in human design that also, that their sole purpose here is to live for this time right now that's coming, and make sure that they are a part of this, that they are not just sitting back at home saying, yeah, this needs to happen, but they're actually getting up, using their voice, they're gathering people, they are teaching knowledge to the ones out there who are hungry for it, who see something's not right but maybe not know yet. And they're there to help take others by the hand. And they're also there to fight for those who can't fight for themselves, who can't speak, and who are really just torn apart by everything going on, because they have no voice to even say no. And they a lot of times don't even have a vote in anything either, which is really sad. Okay, so the South Node, we're moving away from these different things we talked about here. This, are you working for approval in your life? Have you been compromising where you shouldn't have been compromising? Are you trying to be fair where boundaries need to be set, and you don't need to be fair anymore because that has been taken from you, and now it's more about, nope, you're just going to do the right thing. It's not I want to be nice, or I want to turn the other cheek and kind of be the good person or whatever. There comes a time when you have to stand up for yourself and for those around you and for other people. And if you've been in a pattern of being too nice and just allowing things time and time again, it really can impact your strength. And sometimes it takes this kind of shift to regain your power, to be able to put up boundaries and say, no more. I'm not letting you treat me like this anymore. And again, this is not just personal relationships, but this is like, countries and globally. Like, we are not going to allow you to dictate what we can think, what we can feel, what we can do in our daily lives. If we want to live our life this way, raise our kids this way, have a family this way, live here, do this, eat that, whatever, especially when it comes to medicine as well, you have every right to do it however you want. And if they're not supporting you, then they need to go. Because our politicians here in America are representatives of the people. And if they're going into these offices and then they start dictating, whereas the people want something else and they're not doing it, folks, it's time to get them out. Don't allow them to stay anymore. From now until next fall in 2024, when these elections hit, Everyone needs to stand up and do everything they can to get these people out of there, so that we have actual honest people who are going to fight for our freedoms, our autonomy, our own, and no, we shouldn't have to sign an exemption saying that, we have religious beliefs that, allow us to do X, Y, and Z. No. If you want something different, then you need to sign something. We're not the exception. Our religious beliefs don't exclude us, okay? They make us. It's their lack of religious beliefs that exclude them. So that's what needs to be turned around here. And instead, we're painted and stamped with these, they have exemptions because they don't want to do X, Y, and Z. Guess what? No more. We're not, again, we're the ones who are living free. We're not doing anything to change our bodies and change the way we live, the way we breathe, the way we communicate with other people, even if that's giving hugs. We are not changing that. If someone comes in and they are the ones changing it, they need to go sign some papers saying they want this. But the rest of us, no. Our freedom is given. It's not to be, you didn't have this paper signed, so we do what we want to you. Be careful of that, people. I can get more into that, but I won't right now. We'll go back to this. So, done compromising, working for approvals, are you avoiding issues? Have you been kind of sidestepping some issues maybe that need to be looked at, that, you need to confront? Because Aries is that confronter. Now is the time. If there's something in your life, look at your chart, see what houses are, Aries and Libra in for you. Okay, what is that numbered house? What planets are there? Where do your rulers for Mars and Venus sit? Mars being the ruler of Aries and Venus being the ruler of Libra. Where do they sit in your chart? Okay, because that's going to tell you what areas of life that you are dealing with this personally, what you need to stand up for, who you need to come in to contact with, to set boundaries or move away from, or, and I don't want to say this is all about like breaking up or moving away or getting divorced or anything like that, okay? Because those relationships that come together and that talk about these things and that get their life on track and are on the same path and are now, they're not compromising, but they're working together, right? Those are the relationships that are going to last. And what is built right here is going to last a lifetime, because this is where it happens, right? We've come out of COVID, this crisis of losing our freedoms, right? And we've gone into a little bit of healing, trying to get back out into the workplace, trying to get things started back up again, trying to get the economy together, which is tanking so bad right now, with food prices being 4 times what they were a year ago. It's unbelievable. And we won't even get into the housing market and the car market. Good luck trying to buy anything. So here we are. And we know where we want to go with this. So it's going to take those people to come together. And there is going to be some people who are committed. That Libra energy, this fixed sign energy here with Capricorn, even Leo, we still got a little bit of the Venus in retrograde in Leo happening. There's still a lot of fixed energy here. And yeah, let's look at this as a whole thing here, because this is going to help us find the people, the tribe, the family that we're meant to be around. Okay, some people don't even have any family. Some people don't have any friends, and they might have been kind of shunned for what they've believed in before. However, with all of this coming out and this transformation taking place, we're going to see people uniting from all over the place, especially on social medias, gathering, sharing videos about what's going on in their communities and in their countries, getting together and networking. And that's what we need to be focused on here, because that's what keeps us strong, keeps us confident, keeps our morale up, is that we are communicating with others like us that are standing up for these things, okay? So make sure you check your own chart. If you need help, you guys know where to find me. Make sure that you're facing those issues head on with diplomatic intent, okay? Because when you're thinking about where are we going, where are we headed for the future, it's a lot easier to move forward and to have somebody who's committed with you. If you don't know where you're going, you're probably going to be left behind. Now is the time to make some big decisions and decide if you're going to stand up or if you're just going to stay home and lay down. Because it's really, there is no balancing act, 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out anymore. This is moving away from that balancing act of Libra and hitting it head on. No lukewarm, you're either in or out. And you've got to make up your minds. So behavior transformation is also a theme here with Pluto and Capricorn. How are you acting towards others? How are you acting in the workplace? How are you acting towards family members? The 10th house kind of sets up for the 11th, which is our society. And, as it's slowly moving that way, we've got to get ready. We've got to get ready ourselves, get our behavior right, so that way when we take it into society, when it hits Aquarius, then we can move, right? Pluto and Capricorn began in 2008. So if you remember what happened in 2008, many of us do. You can see those reoccurring themes happening right now. Okay, we know the housing market crashed. We know how the stocks crashed. We know how the economy tanked. And we're looking at that same thing right now. Again, we've got the same sign here. Same sign. So when we're looking at some of these other things, it's probably going to hit very hard, especially if another war starts, if World War III starts or whatever. And it's a very big possibility here. It's going to take resources. It's going to take money. You guys know the drill, right? And we're trying to get our taxes down. We're trying to feed our families as it is. And a lot of times, if people are making it okay, then you always see this cycle of something coming in that makes it very difficult, where people are struggling again and they have to go back to depending on the government, because God forbid the government lose their power and people don't want to depend on them anymore because they're self-sufficient. Aries is here to make us self-sufficient, you guys. The homesteads, people are buying up and building and getting together with a few other people or families and growing a community. Guys, it's happening all over the place. Okay, a lot of times in quiet, a lot of times off the grid, but it's out there, it's happening. Those people, who are sharing little bits and pieces about what's going on have set up some wonderful things to be self-sustained, and they're building because they don't want the the communism anymore. They don't want to be ruled. They don't want socialism here. They don't want anybody ruling anything, whatever. The only thing that we're desiring is to do no harm. Don't hurt anybody else with whatever it is you do, and everybody leaves everybody alone. Now, yes, there's always going to be people who just have this desire in them to harm. A lot of times that comes from being in poverty, being hurt as a child, being abused, being triggered by something that reminds them of something else, some kind of hurt or loss or abandonment or something. But there's something there that is creating this within them, okay? And if we can start to learn how to self-sustain, and we can go to healing those triggers that are keeping us in that painful cycle, okay? If we can do that kind of transformation with our behavior and not allow triggers anymore to affect us, because we understand where they're coming from, we understand, and now we've accepted and forgiven and moved on. Yes, it's a process, but let's go through that process together. Let's sit down, let's talk about what triggers us, let's talk about what's happened that set up that trigger, and then practice being mindful and moving forward. Now, sometimes you might have to start with just a few hours every day, really focusing on every thought that comes into your mind and transforming your mind, so that way you can live a little bit more peaceful, during your day, right? And then as you start to do that more often and you increase that time, pretty soon you'll be able to go all day without having negative thoughts coming into your mind or people triggering you. You'll see it, you'll acknowledge it, and you'll let it go. And you'll even kind of laugh, because you'll know exactly what it is. You'll know exactly why it's taking place. And you're above it now. You're stronger than that, and it doesn't bother you. Okay? So with the sun and moon in Cancer, remember that we're all being very sensitive to one another. We're being sensitive ourselves. Cancer is a very sensitive sign, so things may trigger you even more here. You may make you want to either run or sidestep issues, or even mask something just to kind of get away. But now is not the time to be doing that. Again, we are really being called to stand up for what is right for us. And sometimes that's just saying, no, I am not paid to train someone else on this job. I'm just paid to do this job. And so that's what it is that I would like to do, because I don't feel comfortable training, and I'm good where I am. I was hired on for this, and this is what I do. And I want to be left alone with that. And just speaking your mind and standing up for yourselves and saying, no, I'm not going to do extra work that you don't pay me for anyways. They'll move on to somebody else and ask them to do it, right? Or whatever. They can't fire you over turning down something that's not a requirement of your job responsibilities anyway. So just an example there, but there could be, 100 different things that we could rattle off that, you might just need to speak up about. And that's okay. Just get in the habit of speaking how you truly feel. Be sensitive to your own needs and desires and things that will make you comfortable. Okay? And especially if somebody's like offering you a question or asking you, take the opportunity to stand up and say how you would feel in that situation. What is the best possible outcome? Give your point of view. Give some kind of feedback, okay? Don't have any fear, okay? This is a big one here, because we all know how fear can affect us, right? We know that Number one, fear is not of God. So any fear that comes in is our own mind, our own triggers, our own lack of faith. Okay, call it whatever you will. But fear has no place. Okay, as you remove the fear and you start standing up and having faith and speaking out, okay, because it requires action. You cannot just say you have the faith in you and then you never act on it, you never speak on it, you don't move forward in that faith. There has to be action, okay? That's what the vibration is. It's not just going to stay still and silent, it is going to move. So when you are not in fear, you will be showing that to others around you, and that boldness that you're stepping into will also likewise kind of spread around. It's like when you smile, there might be, 9 out of 10 other people will smile back at you. There's always that one weirdo that just looks at you crazy, but I know for me, when I smile at people, they wave, they smile, they say hi, how are you? Like even go into full-blown conversation with me. It all just depends on the person and how friendly they feel at that moment. But yeah, just take that initiative, okay? Use that Aries energy. Use that North Node energy. Remember that life will open to whatever energy you're putting out. And so if you're driven and you're motivated and you're going to get it and you're setting out good karma, you're being honest, you are working hard, you're giving love, you're giving compassion, you're helping people out, all of that's going to open doors and return to you in all kinds of different ways, okay? That's the beauty of the frequencies that we all give off and live in. Peace comes from within. So please don't seek it out. Don't seek it from a relationship. Don't seek it from a home or money or a job or a family member or friend or anything else. Remember that true peace is within us, and we can either find it or not. But we have to calm the world around us, to look inside and feel that. It is a vibration. Peace is the highest vibration, next to being completely awakened and enlightened, I guess. It's one of the highest vibrations that you could possibly feel, because it's just a complete blissful state. When you are in a moment of peace, if you were to take just 5 minutes and go somewhere, out in nature, quiet, where no one else is around, and just sit just for 5 minutes, close your eyes and just listen and calm your entire body, taking deep, slow breaths and allowing the oxygen to fill your body up, fill all of your cells, allowing the ground to exchange the energy within you, because it really does pull out all of the neutrons and then give you the protons through the dirt, through the sand, the earth, even the water. If you like going for a swim in a creek or something, just get in it and float for just 5 minutes and just feel that peace of not worrying about anything. Hopefully it's quiet, because a lot of times noises, can distract us from that and kind of pull us out of that state. But you'll feel that bliss within you. And then you'll get used to what that feels like. If you just do it a little bit each day, you'll be able to take it with you every day and use it more and more and more. And then if you do get triggered or if you get upset, you can find that peace again. You can just disconnect, and you can learn how to tap into that within you because God is within us. It doesn't leave. It is all there. It's just us that's blocking it. It is our mind that blocks it. It's our emotions that we can't control that blocks it, right? So we've got to get ourselves in check and connect with spirit in order to feel that again. And I think that's one of the biggest things that Holy Spirit wants to bring to us is that peace, is that inner peace that we can carry every day. That is what brings miracles into our lives, is having that peace. And then being able to, in that peace, talk to other people, take action, think about strategies and how to do things. It literally will change everything in your body to line up so that the path is so much clearer and so much easier, less conflict, less, and if we can get on the same page with that, it will save us a lot of issues. Like I said, there's going to be powers that be that are working the exact opposite. They want discord. They want poverty. They want to see people struggle so that they come back and need them. They want that codependency because that's how they survive. We've got to make sure that we're not allowing that kind of stuff, okay? We've got to make sure that we're surviving on our own so we can stand up to them and say, no thanks. We don't need your medicine. We don't need your food. We don't need your housing, your FEMA camps, your whatever it is, okay? Again, I can go on, but you get what I'm saying. All right. Ask yourself, what do I need to change? Think about that tower, okay? Think about what needs to come down in your life, what needs to transform. Where can you make little changes in your daily life? Where can you make big changes? Do you lead your daily life, or does it lead you? Are you waiting for other people to make decisions for you all the time and just kind of tell you what they want and where to be and if you're needed in situations? I mean, by all means, if you can help, then go help. But you need to lead your own life. You need to take responsibility back and take the power back into your hands, because if you're not leading your life, then the government or someone else is. And that's not a good place to be in, okay? So some things to think about there. I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of good homework to work on. I'm going to go a little bit over the Cancer new moon through the houses. Really quickly here. We've got Aries. The Cancer new moon is in your 4th house if you're an Aries rising. So the 4th house rules the home, your family, past situations, your roots, heritage, ancestry, things like that, your environment. So not just your home that you live in, but also the environment that you work in, the environment that you go to school in. It's also your mother. It's also other women in the family. It's also, how do you take care of yourself? Okay, Aries. Again, this is the new moon is in your 4th house, but remember this North Node is in your 1st. And so how you take care of yourself is going to be a big theme here anyways, okay? Taurus, we've got the 3rd house. So that is your mind, how you think, how you communicate, okay? Think about the house of Gemini, right? So siblings, your social activity, social media, some things like that. Neighbors, anybody next to you, your neighborhood, early elementary school education. So if your kids are going back to school, your daily routines, anything, short term or nearby you, okay, is basically the third house. So Gemini, for you, it's your second house. If you're a Gemini rising, that has to do with resources and business, finances, assets, money, work, income, any material possessions that you have, your priorities, your habits, your job, your work ethic, anything like that that has to do with bringing in resources for you, for your family, all that good stuff. Cancer, this is your first house. So it's your appearance, your body, your identity, your approach to life, your personality, your attitude, anything having to do with your personal self. And again, that autonomy, is a big one here, because that's you saying what's happening to you, right? So you'll probably feel this a lot, Cancer, with the sun and moon here, as well as those north node being in Aries and calling us to do those things. Leo, this is your 12th house. So you are going to be dealing with any kind of closure or endings. It could be healing, could be like healing in your body. This could be anything unconscious that comes up, family karmas, any shadows, the afterlife, any limiting beliefs that you might have, solitude, anything hidden. Again, this could deal with like hospitalizations. It could deal with imprisonment or institutions of things, anything like that. So wherever it is within your own situation, you're going to look at those things from this new moon perspective, okay? New moon always brings in a new beginning of sorts. So this also could have to do with your dreams and subconscious. You might be experiencing a lot more dreams during this time period, especially with the new moon in Cancer, because it's already the moon is in a watery sign, and it's already intuitive and very psychic. So hopping into that 12th house. Okay, a couple other things that I wanted to mention before we head out here and get to more readings. So on October 14th, we are going to have the next solar eclipse. It's going to be a partial, and if you're living anywhere near California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, it looks like you'll be able to see some of that. Maybe parts of Colorado, like just on the tip or something. I'm not sure. You can look online for that photo to see if you are in the path of that. If you are anywhere in the U.S., up through right before the Great Lakes, like Chicago area, up until looks like maybe Columbus, Ohio, Charleston, South Carolina, anywhere kind of west and south of that line, you should be able to see a partial kind of eclipse. It's not going to be a total. It's not going to completely cover the sun. You're still going to see a ring, but it still will be pretty cool to watch. Now, in other news, though, there will be a total eclipse in 2024 on May 8th, if you want to mark your calendars for that one. That will be a line stretching across the United States through Mexico. So we're looking at going through, just barely touching San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Little Rock. We're looking at Um, very close to Memphis, but you might not see the total. Indianapolis, Dayton, Ohio is covered in that. Cincinnati, you might see a little bit. Louisville, you might see a little bit. Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, Montreal, Toronto. You guys are all going to be right in the path of it. So you will see the total darkness of this eclipse next year. Again, April 8th. If you want to mark the calendar, take an early spring break or whatever, take the kids. That is also online if you want to look that up. But remember with the eclipses, just like back in 2017 when we had the 8/8 Lionsgate open and then the 2017 eclipse come out, it really signifies a lot astrologically that happens that just opens up things that are taking place. And I think 2024 is going to be no short of that same kind of energy. Whenever the sun goes dark and comes back to light, there's almost a reset of sorts that's going on. And I'm really hoping that this reset that happens is something that's going to take place to benefit the masses here, really create a great awakening that that people will acknowledge things are changing, and then get this moving in the right direction. Like, we all want to move to a 4D, 5D consciousness here where we are unconditionally loving and respecting one another. Again, doing no harm to ourselves, no harm to another. And a lot of people are under a lot of false beliefs when it comes to what is harmful and what is helping. And I think that is going to be a big thing that just gets blown right open. So even though it's a very beautiful nature event that takes place, we have to remember the significance also of it astrologically. And again, it being in Aries, and our North Node is still in Aries next year through January of 2025. Don't be surprised if there's a major shift or awakening right there come April around that energy. And I would give it a couple weeks before and a couple weeks after, because we're gonna really feel it ramp up as that eclipse comes into place, and then we're gonna feel that energy a little bit past that again as the moon kind of moves away. So we'll definitely have readings on that coming up as well. Yeah, say hi. Okay, I think that is the main things for the astrology and the cool events coming up. So we are going to go back into some readings and check out what's going on in our energies here. Last one we did was the summer solstice, and we touched on the astrology for that. So I'm going to break out the astrology again for the months of July and August. I'm going to go ahead and give you both this time, because we're going to move right into August here very soon. So we are going to be working on that. We'll do another Love, Lust, or Bust here for the end of July. Probably another singles read. Maybe another next move coming up. We'll try to get some more of these out. I've got some past life reads that I'm going to do. If you are interested in doing one of those, I'll probably do like 5 different piles for that one at a time, and then whatever you're led to, you guys just, you know the drill. You kind of go what your, intuitive guides tell you to pick, and then you see what that is. Yeah, and then we will do a pregnancy video for anyone trying to get pregnant, and just wanting to see, for tarot reasons, because I would much rather do like an astrology read for that. But we can do tarot too. So we can do, is pregnancy something that could happen for you? Is there twins maybe in the cards for you? What gender it could be? We could even pull some letters to see, what initials or name might come out. Something like that. So we'll just have fun with it. For anyone who may be triggered by that, please don't watch it if you're going to be triggered. You kind of have to be your own navigator here when it comes to reads. If there's something you do want to know, and you accept good, bad, the ugly, whatever might come of it, then go ahead and click on it. But if not, don't. So just a little forewarning, and I'll probably put a disclaimer on the video as well, just in case, because losses do happen, and pregnancy is not in the cards for everyone. Even like, someone else having children and then a person kind of adopting them or taking them in as their own or something, is a very different astrological component there. So like there's been plenty of people who have experienced loss, and my heart goes out to everyone. I've myself have experienced that, and it's never an easy situation ever. I don't think anyone that I have ever either known or read about or heard of or anything has had a relief or a good time with a loss like that. So it's 4:44. So that was kind of strong hitting, isn't it? So I'm gonna make a snack and then come back to some of these reads. Okay. You guys take care, and we'll get to more astrology and your monthly reads here shortly. All right, guys. Love you. Take care.